This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
A very good morning, everyone. It's another morning that we start on high note. My names are Isaac Rotich, and in camera is Bungei. We are in the Mara, and we're bringing you this live coverage of SafariLive. I'll be joined by my fellow colleagues down in South Africa, also on live coverage. Please join us this morning. I don't know what the morning brings, but it's still very dark, and I'm very excited. It's all started on a high note. This is the Olololo Pride, and not far from camp, we have made this Feast of the Kings. They have killed a very big buffalo, and today looks like majority of them are all here. I'm so excited. It is chilly. It's around 17 degrees Celsius here and around 63 Fahrenheit. And it's been raining, drizzling whole night. But all that, I cannot feel it because my heart is pounding to see these guys having this breakfast. It's been a while since they had a meal, and I'm very, very, very happy for them. Sorry, I feel sorry for the buffalo, but yes, the lions have to eat. Every now and then, one of them has to go down for the rest to survive. We're on infrared right now, and it is only 6:01 here. It's 6:01 here. Very, very dark. It's going to take me another 35 minutes. I'm going to push you all the way down to Djuma in Kruger, where Lauren has to say good morning. I hope I'll see you shortly.
What a blustery good morning to you all. To South Africa. It is a horrible morning here weather-wise. I have 3 layers on and the wind is very strong today. So first things first, my name is Lauren and on camera I have Craig. So it's very dark, which is why we are in black and white. We are using the infrared at the minute, which makes it easier for you to see and of course not harmful for the animals. But the wind is very, very strong. So we're going to drive a little bit slower today just to make it easy on us. So before I go into today's plan, just a reminder that we're interactive and we need you to send in your questions and comments using the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter or of course the YouTube chat stream. Now, just a little update. Mr. Hosanna, as some of you may know, was around yesterday. So we're going to just check the immediate area for him. And other than that, I am really not sure what is going to be going on today due to the weather. Now, you can see we've just done a circle around quarantine and the Impala, oh, I'll let you guys see, stop and let you see the blustery good morning. I'm not sure if you're able to really pick out how windy and cloudy it is. Oh, yeah, the Impala, might not be able to see them, are all huddled in the middle of quarantine and I feel so sad for them. It's obviously very cold and very windy. Yes, it is indeed very unpleasant. So while we just drive a little bit forward, we are going to just send you next door to Jamie and see how she is surviving these strong winds.
I am a bit chilly. I'm actually... Morning and welcome to the, in theory, sunrise safari. Presumably it will be up at some point. My name is Jamie, and this morning I have Jean-Ray on the back. I also have camera. Now BK is training up as a camera operator here. So that is what's... Any small fluffs, please forgive him. It is a very, very difficult thing to do out here. Well, I mean, I assume, and I've said it before, that our cameramen are probably the best in the world in terms of what they do, because they've got to do it on the fly. They're admittedly the only ones who do what they do in the world, but they're also the best cameramen in the world, because they've got to be ready to move as quickly as possible to level the camera and if the action's gone and they've missed it, they've missed it. Everyone, round of applause to capable cameraman. Well done, Jandre. Jandre's clapping for himself. Everyone else in his team. Alright. I am just here through a dip, so while I do plenty of action happening across in the Masai Mara, let's go and join Isaac and the breakfasting Olololos.
These guys are really feasting on the buffalo. Seems to me they killed it quite early this morning. I would say this is about 2 hours ago, because everybody is trying to dig in as much as possible. This buffalo, I would estimate, was a fully grown one by the looks of the horns, which you'll see shortly, and I think it is around 800 kilos. If you divide by around 12 members who are here, everybody can get about 60 kilos of meat. And, you know, if you remove the bones, then it means somebody might get about 30 kilos. And that's not enough. And that's why everybody is trying to get as much as possible. You can tell the male is all by himself. It means he hadn't been eaten quite well for some days, and he's trying to dominate that side of the kill. There's another male who's much closer to us here. I think he's had his fill, but usually they'll eat, and then after a while they'll go back again and eat again, keep going until there isn't much, to feed on. It started drizzling, but we are not leaving this spot. It is an amazing sight. An amazing way to start the day. I hope you are enjoying yourself. That is one of the Olololo young males who about 5 days ago Snazzy, I don't know if I got your name right. They don't eat the brain of a buffalo. The cavity or the skull around the brain, it's solid rock. It's hard for the buffalo to get in unless it's a young buffalo. But a fully grown like this, they'll leave it, and some moths and flies will finally eat it, and some of it will rot away. I'm sure if they were to get to it, they would eat it, but it is not something that I've ever seen them trying to get to it. I will take my words back. I've been complaining the last 10 days, saying why the Olololos were not going for buffalo. But I think with the effort of the males coming in last night, which we haven't seen for quite a long time, encouraged and gave them the power to be able to bring down a fully grown buffalo. And this is a feast. This is actually a feast. And it's not one of those common kills that you see every day. It is a very, very rare sighting. They kill everything else, but buffalo, it's one of the hardest to bring down. It's one of the Olololo 2, the one with the stumpy tail. That's the one. You will see the tail later. Please join in. Join in and ask as many questions as possible. Join us on Twitter at SafariLive, or you can, join us on YouTube live stream. This is all happening bright and early. Still very dark here. Actually can't see even 20 meters. That is the hind leg there, and I'm sure that little female is hoping that it can rip off so it can go and eat at peace, because the male is trying to get in as much as possible, but because everybody else hadn't eaten as much, everybody's trying to get in and get their fill. There are those that had eaten, and they are scattered everywhere around us. They are close to us, to the left. And it doesn't mean that they wouldn't go back. They will go back. And this is a place where they'll be here the whole morning. So I'm not going anywhere. Hope you have a good cup of coffee, tea, and you're not going anywhere. It's a Sunday morning, so relax and let's see this together. Okay, while I sit here and enjoy, I'll link you back to Lauren, who can show you something else. Elephant.
A cup of coffee. Oh, I would just love that right now. I did actually make myself a cup earlier. Then I forgot about it, got everything ready, and when I went back to it, it was cold. So I've not had a very good morning coffee-wise, but this elephant ahead seems to be having quite a relaxed morning, just gently feeding there. Now, we've stopped quite a distance away for a few reasons. It's still dark and the wind is still very strong, so we don't want to startle the animal, of course. So we're just letting him be just feeding over there. Now, this is actually right next to our dam cam. And there is a lodge in the background, so if you do notice that, that's what that is. And it's quite intriguing to see elephants on a day like this, actually. It was one of the things I didn't expect to see today. But funnily enough, doing lots of intriguing research into elephants right now. And of course, we all know the phrase, elephants never forget. I think I was taught that as a child, actually, but never really sure where the whole thing stemmed from. So, focusing on some interesting research recently on elephant movement. Now, I think it's easy to think that animals just roam, they just wander, they just go from place to place and, you know, wanderlust. But actually, when you think about it, of course, there has to be a strong relationship between resource availability and wildlife movement. And then that helps us understand, oh, big gust of wind, understand species behaviour and ecology. So when you're thinking about these elephants out here, now this one's obviously a lone that we can see at the minute, we're talking about elephants in general. Their movements will change due to the changing landscapes, which of course change, well, day to day, but mostly year to year, especially out here in the African bush. Sorry, my nose is running a little bit here, it's chilly. So do these elephants actually remember the past conditions? And I read an interesting story that study that I just wanted to share with you. So I think it was in Namibia, but I could be wrong. Researchers actually used GPS collars to track 15 herds of elephants over a period of about 5 years. And what they wanted to see was just their movement patterns over a longer term study. Yeah, it's very interesting. So we kind of know that elephants, especially the African elephant, have excellent cognitive abilities and long-term spatial memory. So what does this mean basically for their movement? So using the imagery that was provided from the GPS collars, it actually showed that the elephants remember where to find the best food and water over long-term information, up to a decade. So when you see them movement, they're not just basing that upon, oh, there's some good food by the dam cam. They are actually using long-term memory to find their resources. So the matriarchs of the herd are so important and so crucial because they're the ones that have the knowledge of the landscape. So they will choose the movements of their herd based on the information from past years, not the information that is currently around right now. And I just thought that was so fascinating. So the dam cam area, for example, might be, I didn't catch her name, but someone heard that's why elephants take a while to cross boundaries. Yes, that's absolutely correct. So, for example, the area we are this now, Ruatalapan, might actually be flourishing with all the kind of food that they like, marula trees and nice grasses, but they wouldn't just come here based on that. They would base it on their knowledge from the past years if it delivered in all these years in the past. I just thought that was incredibly fascinating. And of course, the matriarch of a herd is actually in charge of getting the herd safely from place to place with adequate resources. So elephants really do never forget. That's where that phrase stemmed from all along. And of course, they are ultimately thought of as destructors, but they really are bioengineers, if you like, of the ecosystem. So they're important. So their movements aren't just as random as we thought they were. I just thought that was incredibly fascinating for the morning, and I would like to share it with you all. So this is elephants, of course, move a lot. Rosemary said it's fascinating. Yeah, it really is. It was a great study to read. And I suppose it could apply for lots of different animals out here. We tend to just think they're wandering, but they're actually probably not. They're moving with a purpose. Yes, so I think it's important that we send you up to Kenya right now to see what these lions are up to.
Here we are again. Everybody's still trying to get in as much as possible. The big male on the right, I must say he was one of the hungriest, because if he was full, he will not be scrambling and chasing everybody and dominating the whole side all by himself. And you can tell the respect they give him, because you don't want to be on the wrong side of such a big man, a big male. You can tell the growling. Let's watch this. Okay, sorry, he's gone back. You can tell nobody wants to be on his bad side when he's hungry. And that's why they're all curled up on one side. Feeding that low, it's part of being submissive. It's not their wish. They would be all over, but they don't want to be misbehaving while he is there. So they're trying to get in as much as possible with the least, like... Maldon, you asked if there are any hyenas. Yes. How we spotted these lions, we saw a hyena from a distance, and while I was shining my spotlight, which now I'm trying not to use because we are on infrared, we found these guys. Yes, there is hyena around, and there is a jackal back there, you see. Those are the opportunists, scavengers. They are waiting for those little scraps that the lion will leave. Can you imagine how brave he is? Because there's lions all over. This is a place I don't want to be if it was me. You see, there's a lion a long way out there. There's another jackal way out there. Yeah, so there is hyena, there is jackal, and there is lion all over. This one close to us here looks like he's eaten a bit too much. He's a bit uncomfortable. I have seen lions before where they have eaten so much they couldn't even lie on their bellies. I saw one try to lie on his back. He went on his belly, he went on his side, and eventually he had to go and throw up a little bit so that he could breathe and be comfortable. Can you imagine how glutton that is? But they are lions, and that's what they do. They don't play with food. You can see the belly. Well, I'm here. I'm hoping there's going to be more action, but already there's enough action. I'm going to send you to Jamie, who's, I think, is on a walk or something.
I'm not on the move at all. In fact, I'm very much stationary for now, but something was on the move. Several somethings came running along down this road, and some of you might be able to identify those tracks. If you can't, let me tell you, because it's very difficult, that they are in fact, well, these tracks belong to a pack of wild dogs. Quite tiny tracks, but because now this sand is so soft, we should be able to see each and every distinctive toe But because this wind is so strong, it's actually already blown the sand across the top of the track and obscured it almost completely, which initially for me in the dark made it very difficult to see what I was looking at. And it was just judging by the sort of the positioning of the feet that we were able to figure out that it was in fact a pack of wild dogs. What that means again is that there's a good chance they were running around at night, which we spoke about a couple of bushwalks ago. Oh, actually it was probably quite a while ago. The fact that the wild dogs ran in the middle of a storm in the dark. And I said at the time I thought it was really weird, but apparently this is something that they're doing. The theory goes that the other predators are so distracted that it's safe for them to do so because wild dogs are diurnal hunters. Giraffe Girl says, puppies! I know. Okay, I've done this enough. I've sat still enough. I do actually have to move. I've got Aubrey on them as well from his side. So I've sent him to the south to go and have a look. So what I'm going to do is just loop round quickly. I'm trying to balance 2 things this morning. 3 things, 4 things. I'm trying to think we need something for this afternoon's TV show, and it's just Lauren and myself out this morning. So we need to cover as much ground as possible. And then, of course, we need to present a good show for you this morning so you don't lose out. And I need to think about where Hosanna would go, although I've put Lauren on that for now. And I want to know if the Nkuhumas have come back. Although apparently the rest of the pride yesterday were on Elephant Plains, which is not ideal because it actually takes them further off in the direction of the great vast wild west. So I'm going to cover ground quite quickly now. I'm going to loop round towards Aubrey's Road. I might go through a bit of a signal dip. No, I think I'm okay. Apparently lots of you saying thank you very much for all the activity this morning. It's a pleasure. No problem. Luckily, Isaac's got some entertaining lines for you. My other thing that I'm going to try and do this morning is to survive the wind. I'm holding on to my hat, which I shouldn't really do because that's where my microphone is, but I actually don't have a choice. Because otherwise it's going to blow away, and I'm really glad I don't have the roof on. Because it would be a risk. Woof! Brr. We've got so used to 40-degree days that this feels like -5. I wonder what the Scot thinks about it. Mind you, she is a Scot that was designed for warmer temperatures, so she's probably freezing.
Yes, I actually am struggling in the car. My hat keeps flicking up and I have to keep pulling it down. So we are driving really slowly because it is so chilly, and the faster we go, the chillier it becomes. So just like the elephants, we're driving with a purpose, and that purpose is to try and locate Mr. Hosanna. Now, he did actually walk past our camp last. We had a little bit of a celebration for Sebastian's birthday, and we saw that he had walked right past camp. So we know, well, we believe that he's still in this area, but where is the question? We don't know. So we're going to continue looking for him for now. It's actually been a long time since I've seen Mr. Hosanna in the flesh. I had a huge success with leopards the other day, 4 at one sighting, but Hosanna was nowhere to be seen for me, so it would be an absolute delight if we could see him. Now, normally he hides in the cooler areas and the shaded areas because it's so hot, but obviously this morning it's really not hot, it's really chilly, so I imagine they'll be nestled somewhere to try and actually get a little bit of warm. Oh, there we go. Hello. Well, there we go. I cannot believe I just spotted you. Hello there and good morning. Yes, there we go. So it's not actually... Yes. I am so impressed with myself. So, not quite as nestled in the vegetation as I actually thought. Sorry, I'm just going to put my handbrake on because the car keeps edging forward a little bit. Now, Emma said a lot of the viewers are confused because I am from Scotland, so I'm obviously supposed to brave the cold, but I can't. Yes. Is this Mr. T? I believe it is. I'm getting better at this leopard spotting thing. I think Tristan's spotty luck is actually rubbing off on me. Good morning to you too. What are you doing here? How interesting. Oh, Emma said I need to get a Sydney dance. Okay, I need to work on that. That's going to take me some time to perfect that. Okay, so how interesting that this was the area that we thought they were in. Well, we thought Hosanna was in. And now we've come across Tingana. So this potentially means that there could be a kill nearby. Tingana is famous for stealing Hosanna's kills. So possibly due to the blustery windy night, which predators can actually use to their advantage, there was a kill last night. I'm just scanning around and I can't see anything, but this could possibly be why we have came across him. And he's plonked down on the ground to continue his morning snooze. Oh, Paula is wondering if Tandy is nearby. Wouldn't that be fantastic to continue my saga from the other day? The most magical sighting I have had out here, Tandy and Tingana mating. So I have honestly no idea if she is around, but that would be wonderful to see. So we're not going to go anywhere for the next little while and see, well, what happens. Leopards surprise you apparently, as I found out the other day. Oh, I'm so happy with myself right now, and I've not even had coffee. Well done, Lauren. No coffee and you found a leopard. It does pay to drive slower now. I have a little bit of a bad habit of putting my foot down, but now that the vegetation is so thick, it does pay to drive that little bit slower to see what you can see. Oh, Emma thinks that Tingana would be a coffee guy. Do you know what? I completely agree with you. With these cigars that James once mentioned in the evening and the coffees in the morning, yes, I agree. I don't think Hosanna would be a coffee guy though. I think Hosanna would like his tea just like Jamie has it. An espresso, yes, Emma, I agree. I always laugh at the way Jamie has her tea. It's very British, and in the UK we call it a builder's tea. It's the way the builders have it. 2 tea bags, 2 sugars, and she's very fussy with her milk. So the other day she did ask me to make her tea, and it was a lot of pressure. Whew, making Jamie's tea. I think Hosanna would drink tea like Jamie, but Tingana here, yeah, an espresso guy. I'm with you, Emma. What a find. Now, he is slightly down a little bit, so he's not quite nestled in the vegetation as I thought he would be, but he's slightly down a slope, which could obviously potentially shade him from the wind a little bit. And he has, of course, got that thick coat of spots, which will keep him warm during the blustery winds. Scottish people are obviously not good at keeping warm, or maybe it's because I've been in hot climates for too long. I've forgotten how to handle the cold. So Isaac also has lazy lions, so I think we'll head across to him now and we'll try and get in a little bit of a better position to see Mr. Tingana.
I hope you're still here with me. Sorry, Lauren, that you're chilly. I have had to bring down some covers on one side of the vehicle because it's rainy, but not as chilly now. I hope you're still comfortable. You've made yourself very comfortable, because this is one of those sightings that we don't come and leave. We are here for a little bit longer. You can tell these guys have had their fill and they're resting, but the Olololo many are still feeding. Conditions are perfect for them. very cool, so they don't need to worry about overheating. All they need to worry about here is how much they can get into their stretchy tummies. The male is still trying to dominate one side of the big buff. I must say, although, he came down, this is not a fight for the faint-hearted. They fight and fight. They must have overwhelmed him to bring him down. That is what happened. They usually tire him, and you can tell these many, he had no chance. Missy, yes, they know that there is enough for everybody, and that's why they're so content. They know that eventually the male is gonna leave that side, and then it's going to get a little bit messy or ugly, because everybody who's sleeping, they're going to go all the way around. Barbara, you ask how long it will last? Not long. By 9 o'clock today, it will be finished. It will be finished, because you can tell already it's only one side that's remaining. The legs have all been eaten, and there isn't much. It will be finished by 9 o'clock. These many lions, they are 19 in this pride, minus 4, let's say, the female and the cubs. Wow, something exciting just happened. More exciting. Jamie just found some wild dogs. I'll be here.
What do you think, Jamie?
Hello, and look what we have. Haha, surprise. We got very lucky. I picked up on their tracks on Aubrey's Road, so at least we managed to guess which way they were going. And then Aubrey called us in to see puppies. Sleepy puppies, because you've been up all night running around in the dark, haven't you? I'm so excited. I love spending time with puppies. Now, for those of you that don't know, or perhaps alive to these new safaris, you're not looking at some sort of type of feral dog or anything like that. What you're looking at is a wild dog, a painted wolf, or a painted dog. And they are incredibly rare, endangered species of predator in Africa. The second most endangered carnivore in Africa, as it happens, with their giant Mickey Mouse ears. Oh, look at them all tucked up together against this wind. I know, puppies, it's foul. It is absolutely, thoroughly unpleasant. I've absolutely no idea which pack this is. I know that there was a pack of wild dogs on Buffel's Hook yesterday. They do, they look so grumpy. That's exactly how I was this morning. This morning I accidentally, instead of hitting the snooze button, hit the off button to my alarm, and went from sort of tucked up in my bed thinking, just 5 more minutes, to suddenly realizing there really only were 5 more minutes before I actually had to be on the vehicle. And that was my face this morning. It's not nice in the wind, is it, puppies? Yes, you just stay curled up here all day until the TV show when you can get up. What are the chances of that? Zephyr says, puppy pile. I know. Log dogs. Puppy pile. Puppy pile. Fur pile. They look thoroughly content. I bet you it's really nice and warm in the middle of them. Smelly. Really smelly, but really nice and warm. If one could be accepted as a member of the pack, it would be absolutely lovely. Dogs, of course, unless it is really, really hot, almost constantly in physical contact with each other. One of the reasons why they are actually at risk in terms of numbers is because once a disease spreads to one, it can actually spread to the others very, very quickly. Quite a big pack. I can actually see a couple more piles of puppies. I can see 2 at least. 1, 2, 3 piles of puppies. There are some at the back, but it's very difficult to see for the moment for BK. White Lady Eowyn says, lumps of lichen. that's brilliant, because that, of course, is the Latin name for a wild dog. Very clever. Very, very clever. That's at least the genus. Hey, look at that. Someone's got a collar. Well, that is not a collar as if to say he is a pet dog. That is definitely not the case. That is a tracking collar that is placed there by the researchers in order to keep tabs on the movements of the wild dogs. As I mentioned before, they are incredibly endangered, so understanding their movements and keeping track of them is one way that various conservation organizations, in this case the Endangered Wildlife Trust, do extraordinary work in terms of keeping these dogs safe, or at least, if not these individual dogs, certainly the overall population in the area. And what they'll do, there's one up there, no, it's gone back to sleep. What they will actually do is they will, or they do, have programs of reintroduction. So they are slowly but surely expanding the wild dogs range into back where it used to be. You read stories of 100 years ago of wild dogs, and the beginning part of the formation of the Greater Kruger, which is of course where we are now, and at the time it was the Sabi Game Reserve. And Stevenson Hamilton, when he was moving through the area, saw these packs of wild dog and said that, he wrote in records, they come in and they destroy everything and they must just be disposed of. And that they were the ones that actually bore the biggest brunt of the predator extermination program. And that was by somebody well-intentioned who was looking to conserve an area. I say 100 years ago, it's actually more like 120 years ago now. I just am still living in the 90s or the 2000s. And flee the pops. Okay. While we wait for our dogs to be up and about, Isaac's lions have finished off their breakfast. Well, actually, either way, they are up and about and moving. Let's see what they're up to.
It's all happening. Yeah, it's all happening. Now they're all up. It's action-packed here. Yeah, lovely. Look at this. This is what I call a pride of lions. Everybody is here. Look at this, everybody. That tail twitching is a sign of excitement. And I can, feel it. I can see it. There's a feast for everybody. I'll just let you listen. The male stood up and everybody rushed in, but then he went back. You can tell that the carcass has been eaten one side. Jack, yes, it is a lot of lions. A lot of lions. It's amazing. That is Halftail, one of the big Olololo males. Yes, that was Halftail, and the other male is Fang. If I could ask you, all our viewers, how could you express this? Please share it on Twitter at #SafariLive. I don't know how you'd express this. I have no words. That is Fang, who is busy trying to dominate the carcass. If you can tell, it's been eaten, most of it. You can see the ribs. Yeah, that's the side that was at the below. Now it's been turned around, but he's still trying to dominate as much as possible. He's a power to reckon in this pride, and that's why he's dominating one side. Marvelous. I hope you're getting all the sound effects. Okay, it is just about sunrise. I don't know if we'll get the sunrise, but if we get it, it's going to be amazing. We're still on infrared. The colors are coming, and sooner or later we'll switch on to normal mode. Unbelievable. No better way to start a day for me than this. The best day, you know, one of the best days in my office. Yes, I'll send you back to Jamie, who the wild dogs are a bit active now. And yeah, I'm here.
Moment of rest gone. We are very shortly going to be up and moving. In fact, I'm surprised that we were resting at all for a moment. Here we go. Getting ready to go, and this is where things get a little interesting, folks, especially in this block. This block is really, really difficult. There's a chance that we could actually lose them in here, but I'm going to do my utmost. Fortunately, I don't have a roof on. I would have been very sad if I had a roof on. They're moving. There might be a little bit of playing, a little bit of bigging each other up, sort of hyping themselves to go out on the hunt. Section there. Apparently this is the Hamilton's pack, which means there should be 18 puppies. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yay, they're going to start to play. Look, unfortunately, there's no way we'll hear their vocalizations or their squeaks this morning just because of the wind. Oh, as in every family, there's some that are eager and ready to wake up, and there are others that are just not quite there yet. Okay, thanks, Em. What we might have to do is a switch in terms of people in the back in order to do that. But let's see how we go. I would not do an unscheduled now because we're about to lose them into this block. There they go, bounding off. I'm not moving yet because the puppies are still moving because they're all over the show. Okie dokie. All right. It is time. Thanks, Orbs. My hair is about to come out. It's going to be absolutely mental. This wind is going to sabotage us. Lots of people commenting on the perfectly formed downward-facing dogs. Stretches that they do first thing in the morning. I know, absolutely. Okie dokie, here we go. Puppies streaming ahead. Move, move, move. Move, move, move. They're about to cross west. This is going to happen very quickly. Go, puppies, go. Oh, I love this. Watching these creatures in action is just the best. It's as if they have, I don't know, like they're completely tireless, like their bodies are fluid. It's spectacular. As they run beside you, it's like they're waves, not animals. I don't know how to explain what I mean. This liquid energy. Look at all these dogs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 that I can see. That means there are most likely 18 around here. It's so beautiful to see this many of them. I can smell them. The musky scent of oily, wet dog. One of my favorite smells in the world because, of course, I know what it means. Exciting. I haven't had a proper wild dog sighting in ages. Oh, are we done now? Is that how it is? Is it just one of those mornings? Sudden burst of energy. No, I'm done. It's horrible weather. Horrible weather. Yes. Yeah. I love how quickly some of them have fallen asleep as well. That was bizarre. Okay, I'm going. Nah. I like the idea that someone running sort of in the middle of the pack went, guys, should we not just wait 5 more minutes? I mean, you know, the impala aren't going anywhere. Or maybe they heard me saying how much they love them. I love them. And they decided to stay because they're very close to our western boundary. Gangly pups. I know absolutely nothing about the Hamilton's pack except for the fact that there's 18 of them. Brendan wants to know how endangered are wild dogs, and the answer to that is exceedingly. I've been away for a while, so I don't have the exact numbers of how many there are in the Greater Kruger. It's probably somewhere around about I think around just over 200. I think the population did go up ever so slightly. I'll check for you. I'm not 100% sure. That means around about 500 or so in South Africa, and around about, I think the numbers are now about 2,000 maybe left in Africa. That is an exceptionally low number, especially because if something like disease or canine distemper moves through a population, or rabies, that does enormous damage to their population very, very quickly. So it's known that once diseases like that take hold, the entire pack dies. There are no survivors. So I'm trying to tighten up my hair in preparation for this chase that we're about to go through. Here we go. So the answer is very. As I said, the second most endangered big carnivore in Africa, the most endangered being the Ethiopian wolf. An animal with a very bad reputation and a propensity for covering large distances and largely ignoring fences. So to see them, just to see them, is a truly special experience. Now, Bubble Girl wants to know if aren't the collars heavy on the dogs? No, they get accustomed to them quite quickly. Look, those collars are not, I'm not going to lie to you, they're not paperweight light. Or sorry, they're not paper thin or feather light is what I was trying to say. But it came out as a paperweight, which of course by nature is a heavy thing. They do have some weight to them. There's quite a bit of equipment within them as well as batteries. So they're not completely weightless, but it is nothing that actually affects the animal. You can see the way that the dog moves without it bothering him. Obviously, any kind of human interference like that has an impact. It's got to be weighed up against the benefit that it brings to the population as a whole. And it brings a massive, massive benefit to the population. As a result, it is essential in this kind of situation. I can't believe they went back to sleep. I did not see that coming at all. I mean, I totally get it. I really do. I suspect they were running last night in the dark, which surprised me. Is that impala moving in the background, or is that... What is that? Chandra, can you have a look through those trees there? I'm pretty certain that's impala. I wonder if they're not waiting for them to come this way. Yes, through there. That's an impala, isn't it? It's a whole herd of impala. Well, that's going to be a wild ride. I mean, I could really build up the jeopardy here and tell you they're hunting. Look at them. Any moment now, they're going to leap up and grab an impala. Actually, having just sarcastically said that, oh yes, and don't go anywhere, we'll join you after the break. One actually did get up. So we'll stick around here, obviously, and watch what the doggies get up to. Meantime, let's go see how Lauren's doing with a Tingana.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm glad my cat has not given me the run around this morning. When we were all getting the vehicles ready, we were thinking, oh, this is going to be such a windy, awful morning. But it's, oh, Ghana's plonked down. It's been quite an eventful morning. And me and Craig were just saying, isn't it incredible that your mind, we were set out to look for Hosanna because we saw him outside the camp and we know that he is in this, well, he was in this area last night. Then you see a leopard, your immediate reaction is to think, oh, Hosanna. And it isn't until you take a look, you think, oh, whoa, Lauren, no, that's not Hosanna. We didn't expect to see Tingana today, and that is, of course, exactly who we found. Now, facially, I think Tingana has such different, of course there's many differences, such different eyes from Hosanna. There's no mistaking Tingana's eyes. I don't quite know what it is about them, but they're a completely different shape and design, if you like, than his son Hosanna. So he's gone back to his nap, but just a few seconds ago he was actually giving us a beautiful view of his shoulder blade, his left shoulder blade to be exact, and it was humongous. You can see why he is the Duke of Juma, with those huge shoulder blades, which of course all leopards have for their climbing abilities up the tree. They're completely different from ours. They have lots more muscle attachment sites to assist them getting up the trees, and he was just giving us a perfect view of that shoulder blade, but of course now he's decided to go flat. Typical of these spotted cats. I just can't help wondering exactly where Hosanna is. So while we do wait for some movement from the Duke here, let's go up to Isaac with a beautiful sunrise.
It is official. The day has started. The balloon to the left, that is what they're experiencing. Imagine anybody in that balloon. He must be so happy. Same as me. I hope same for you. Although, you're seated. This is real. This is SafariLive, and everything you see here is very, very, very much alive. We have been staking out the Olololo pride. They made a kill last night, and 2 of their males are present this morning, Fang and Halftail. What an amazing sight. The one feeding is called Fang, and the reason we call him Fang, he misses one of his canines. The one with the very dark mane, quite far out, is Halftail. You can tell Fang is not playing with his food. I think his mama taught him well. Those guys to the left, I'll repeat this again. The way they are feeding is not normal. They don't want to be so aggressive in the table. If they were left, if the male would leave, they would be all over that kill. They'll be fighting, they'll be growling. But with the male present, they're, pretending they're being submissive, feeding without, showing too much effort so that the male doesn't think they're eating too much, because you can tell he hasn't eaten much. And so he wants to feel as much as possible. Remember, it was a fully grown buffalo. Now it's almost a quarter. And he still wants to have as much as possible. The belly you see there is going to be twice the size. Lion bellies are elastic. They will stretch as they eat. Look at those 2 and the male over there. They've eaten their fill, and they're trying to digest as fast as possible so they can come in for more. Lisa, you say they have 2 beautiful manes. I agree with you totally. Magnificent. Some of the, specimens that you'd want to see when you come on safari. And this is typical of Mara lions. They are huge. Oh, can you imagine how brave that guy is? That's why they say as brave as a jackal. I hope, it stays that way, because these are that is a very precarious move. Over there, anything can happen. The he is, but I'm sure he knows he's much faster now, especially that the male has eaten. But, you know, if he gets too close, they might try and kill him just, you know, to reduce competition. So even those little scraps still remain for them. Silver-backed or the black-backed jackal. You can tell he's just hoping to get a little bit of that meat. I'll let you watch for a little bit, like 10 seconds. Well, this meal will keep them going for at least maybe 4 days. There are those ones that might be able to survive longer, because for sure you can tell the others that are fuller than others, and others had a meal a few days ago, so they'll be able to survive longer. But there are those ones that will need a meal maybe in another 3 days. They need to have a meal like this every about 5 days. And this is, you might think that it is very sad for the buffalo, but every now and then one has to, you know, go down for the rest to survive. Nature knows how to balance everything. And I feel sorry for the buffalo, but the lions have to eat. And with a big pride like this, if they want to eat the smaller game, we might not have the smaller ones. So every now and then, you know, a big guy like this has to come down. And I think also his time had come. I don't know where the 4 are, but I assume one of the females missing is the female with the cubs, and the others, and then the others are very close to camp. I'm still here. I'm going to send you all the way down to Duma in South Africa, where Jamie, I think the wild dogs are active.
You know exactly what's going to happen this morning is because we have told BK, Jean-Ray and myself about the absolute chaos that is a wild dog sighting. The fact that you can barely keep up, if you can keep up at all, that they run like crazy, that they're gone in 5 minutes. You know what's going to happen is they're going to spend the entire morning sleeping, just so that BK wonders what on earth we are talking about and thinks we're both completely barking, mad. Because right now that seems to be a relatively likely. I understand. I really, truly sympathize with these dogs because they are... It's miserable. It's miserable. I'm sitting like that too. If I could be in the middle of that pack, I totally would be. Oh, little yelping. What's wrong, guys? Oh, now we're up. And we might go back down again. It's just going to take them a little while this morning to work themselves up. I'm kidding. I do think they are going to move. No. No, Bill. Okay, so I'm saying no. I'm not the scientist that conducted that study. I just am extraordinarily skeptical of its actual truth. Sometimes studies are done by people who haven't spent much time with the animal themselves, at least for longer than a certain limited study period. Bill wants to know if wild dogs vote by sneezing, whether or not they should go hunting. That article was released about 2 years ago, I think, maybe a year and a half. And I am extraordinarily skeptical as to whether or not that is the case. No, I do not believe that wild dogs vote by sneezing. Am I a scientist? No. They're looking at those impala. I am not a scientist. I am just a lowly field guide. But I'm hesitant to accept that that is a possibility. Shall we reposition now that they've all curled up right on the side of the road and we've got the sighting all to ourselves? I think we shall. heavy on the clutch here. I've discovered it's not actually me. They're gonna go. It's not me. Oh, hyena. You want to get a shot there quickly? Sorry, Andre. Wasn't watching my monitor. Where'd you come from? Hello, puppies. I don't know this pack, so I don't want to make them nervous by being too close. I'm going to keep directed in this direction. I can't see those impala anymore. I think that hyena disrupted them slightly. I think that's what gave the wild dogs a fright. Now, relationship between hyenas and wild dogs, it's a temperamental one. It depends on the number of hyenas and the number of wild dogs. The two of them vie for the top position in the predator hierarchy at its most simple. You know, there's situations where those 5 male cheetah would quite easily take on a female leopard. Okay. But sometimes wild dogs actually just go and attack hyenas completely unprovoked. Sometimes hyenas will steal from wild dogs if it's a small pack and they've got the numbers for it. I think we're off, everyone. There's the collared one. Having a jolly good scratch. Are we going to run 20 meters down the road and then abandon it and go back to sleep? Because I would not judge you. Jenny, you want to know when the pups will leave and if the female will wait to go into estrus? No, she will not. She will actually, she'll go into estrus relatively soon. No, where are we? We are in January still. No, so she's got a few months to go. She will breed every year and they den around about June or so. Look at this grooming. It's so sweet. And then the pups will leave when they are ready at around about, it depends, to a year and a half, 2 years old, they'll head out. And they usually they disperse out in groups of the same sex. The males will disperse, the females will disperse, and so on. But wild dog pack dynamics are complex. I wish I'd spent more time really getting to grips with them, because I think it would be fascinating. This wind is unbelievable. Oh, this is what we love about wild dogs, is their relationship within the pack. The old and the puppies are looked after incredibly well. They are fed through regurgitation in the beginning, and then once the puppies start running with the pack, they will then join in and get to eat their own meals, but they're still treated as the most important part of the pack itself. They just all love each other. There's very little aggression. There's very little... When you watch lions on a kill, contrast it to Isaac's situation in the Mara, there's a lot of growling, snapping, scratching, all of those sorts of things. We're definitely thinking about getting up. They smell quite spectacular. Look at that tongue. Mickey Mouse ears, listening. Now, the way that these dogs hunt, and they are going to start hunting soon, is to bombshell. Sorry, I was just half listening to Lauren there. They're going to bombshell through the bush and do what's known as coursing. Coursing through an area to try and basically flush any sort of animal, a steenbok, a scrub hare, an impala. Don't look that way. Turn around and look in the opposite direction, please. It is going to be incredibly complex. Brrr. Smelly dogs. Aren't they beautiful? You can see why they're known as painted wolves or painted dogs. Like somebody created their coats with splodges of paint. All right, as our dogs decide whether or not they're going to get up, off you pop along to Jackal, who has courageously gone in search of a breakfast snack.
Yeah, that is one of the young males, about 2.5 years. And in another 1 year, he might end up saying bye-bye to the pride because he will become too big and the fang and half-tail will see him as a future competitor. So they will chase him. Looks like Fang is relaxing and the guys are moving in the other side. I counted almost 6 young males. All those little guys you see on the other side are males. The future holds a very bright future for them if they stick together. Because if they form a coalition, it is a power to reckon. Hey, there is enough for everybody, come on. See that guy there? He tried to tell the other brother, come on, get out. I've been here, earlier than you. Oh, there's another one hiding. See the ears, folded backwards. That is a sign of anger and also same time submission, yeah? We can't see the other guys now on the other side. Fang is very busy on the inside of the ribcage. Remember, this is happening all live. This is the Olololo Pride. We found them very early. Double dash. Chances are they will form a coalition. And it will be very successful. First of all, they have to survive. That is what they have to do. You can tell Fang is trying to rip off something, get up, That is lions growling. Look at that. Fine specimen. Doesn't get better. Oh, hi, Bacon. Yes, I think during the hunt, there's action. Every time I try and talk. Yes, I think while they were making the kill, he fell in mud, and that's why it's so dark. I don't know if you noticed Fang. He's missing one of his canines. That's why we call him Fang. Beautiful. Everybody's trying to get bits, just a little bit of a bite there, but Fang is really like dominating one side. It's still drizzling here. There's no wind. Very fresh. Everything is beautiful here. I don't know if anybody came up with a name that how we could describe this, but I would say for me it's just epic, wonderful, unbelievable, magical. Yeah. Once Fang, she's lady, yes, it is beautiful. Once Fang leaves, of which I think is going to be here another maybe 20 minutes, this is when it's going to get louder. This is when the diners, the Olololo diners, lose table manners, and all hell breaks loose, because everybody's gonna move in. Even those one lying down, they'll all move in. Usually, you see one lion, 2, 3, but here we have yeah, it's still too early for vultures. You asking any vultures? It's still too early. They need enough light to see, and where we are just behind a hill, so visibility is not good. But in the next maybe half an hour, they'll be flying in, because definitely there'll be few scraps that the lions won't eat, and they'll come. But it is still too early. Right now it's almost 7 here. The visibility is not good because of the rain, but they will come. Yeah, you notice actually they are actually those ones that are much darker. I think during the kill, there was lots of like lying down, waiting for the buffalo to get exhausted, and that's why they're much darker. Yeah, that is half-tail, and he's waiting to move in. I'll send you all the way down to Lauren, who's got something nice for you.
Well, what just happened there? Tingana got up, but before he got up, he was obviously on our right side. We had an elephant, and I don't know if it was the same one from the dam cam, because it was a little bit further away on the left side. Tingana was very aware of the elephant's presence. He was smelling, and he came and used our car as a shield. Elephant walked off, and now Tingana has gone after the scent of the elephant, slowly following. I don't know if he's trying to see what it was. So we are just going to try and locate him at the minute. He's gone into a drainage line, so it's not going to be the most easiest thing to do. And I don't also know where that elephant went. But what a moment. So while I'm relocating, let's go across to Jamie and see what's happening over there.
Okie dokie. Lauren fixes up her sink and tries to get her mouth to match the words that she is saying. That, of course, is a technical issue. It's not just her accent. We are still with very flat puppies. Log doggies. You get flat cats and log dogs. I've never seen them so thoroughly still. Well, I have, but usually on a boiling hot day when they're lying in the shade. All flattened out. This morning they're just miserable and cold and curled up against each other. There's, of course, no shelter for the animals to go to when it's weather like this. They're exposed to the elements. Although, I want to be that dog right in the middle, I think. That's exactly where I would like to be right now. I'll take the smell at this stage. I really would. You know me, I don't mind the heat so much, but the cold, especially when I'm accustomed to 40-degree days. There's a massive storm front off the eastern coast of South Africa, heading toward Madagascar. It's between us and Madagascar, and that's what we've got the tail end of. I think that's where this wind is coming from. Of course, I'm no weather expert, as you well know. I've got no idea exactly what the breakdown of this pack is. I don't know who the alpha is. There, of course, is an alpha pair within a wild dog pack. I don't know which one of these guys it is. What we need to do is get as many screenshots of their side profile as we can. Each and every single wild dog is identified by their patterning on their coats. Sometimes they have distinguishing features. Obviously, they've got tatty ears in some cases. There was one with a black tip to its tail a couple of years ago. I don't know what happened to that dog. So there's easy ways to identify them. And in terms of deciding whether or not you're looking at a male or a female, the males are just a little bit bigger. And then there's the obvious, of course. The main physical difference between the males and females is very obvious in wild dogs. They also have much thicker necks and heads, the males, that is. Females are streamlined. And these are nature's natural athletes. I'm telling you now, it's Murphy's Law. We've told BK about them and they're not moving. They're not going to move for the rest of the morning, which is fine with me because I'm quite happy to sit here. Oh, somebody's up. Somebody's down again. Finding a more comfortable position. There's no growling, no snarling, no raised lips and showing of teeth. Everybody just adjusts for their friend. We could learn a lot from wild dogs. Ah, there we go. Ed's asking about the social structure of puppies. And we just refer to them as puppies, of course. There's only a few puppies in this pack. Ed wants to know if they're matriarchal or patriarchal. They're not really either of those things. They are led by an alpha pair, and the alpha pair is the pair that will breed. But there's exceptions to that. Sometimes the beta female does breed. Her pups don't always survive due to the competition with the alpha's female. They're just out-competed. But they are led by the alpha pair, kind of in a way similar to wolves. But within their society, they're very... I don't quite know what the word is that I'm looking for. Altruistic, in a way. The pack is no clear... Apart from the mating and the sort of producing of cubs, there's no massive dominance hierarchy within the pack. As I said, the infirm members and the puppies are often treated better than the strong members of the pack. I think Tristan was telling the story yesterday, I think it was yesterday morning, about the wild dog that survived with only 2 legs because the pack was actually looking after it and regurgitating food. What you'll see when they do eat is that they're often individual members will go up and beg at a dog that's eaten quite a lot, and that dog will actually regurgitate meat. It is a dream to one day have a wild dog den on Juma. It would be really, really special. I haven't seen tiny wild dog pups in a long time. I think the last time I saw them was probably with Jerry, actually. Geraldine Kent, when we went to visit Brent's parents on Leadwood. It was about 2016. Then I went to the Mara, and of course, wild dog sightings in the Mara used to be impossible. But both Corley and who else had wild dogs? Someone else had wild dogs in the Mara, and I can't remember who it was. There's 2 wild dog sightings in the Mara. Ah, it was Gigi. It was Gigi. He also had a wild dog sighting. Okay, I'm going to do a head count. Let's do it, now that they're all together. There's 1. There's 2 and 3 over there. And then there's 4 and 5 behind them. And then there's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm still only counting 16. I mean, it's a bit difficult to distinguish where one dog ends and the other begins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm trying to count ears. Now, it's getting even more confusing. We need 32 ears if my count of 16 was correct. You've got 17, so I just can't count. Well, I mean, it is over 10, and I've only got 10 fingers, so I get a bit confused once we get past that. Unless I use my toes and I don't feel like taking off my shoes. So I quite easily could have got the head count wrong. No wind. To blow away. It's howling. No wonder they don't want to get up. Deeply, deeply envious of Tristan this morning. And Steve. should have taken a hot water bottle. Okay, so Jean-Andre counts 17. The production team is saying that I assume that they feel sympathy. They also may be feeling the wish to be in bed as well. I don't know what the weather's like in Johannesburg. I feel so far removed from the production team these days. They're so far away. I only hear their voices. Obviously during drive time, not when they're not talking to me. Apparently it's also overcast in Johannesburg as well. They, of course, have to get up early and drive to work. So, you know, there is that. Okay, Jean-Andre's counted 17. I'm inclined to believe him. We'll have to wait till they get up and try and do another head count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. No, I definitely can't do it with ears, because now I've only got 30 ears, which of course would equal 15 dogs, which doesn't make sense at all. I give up. We'll have to wait till they get up. They also... Oh, are we getting up? Now, you might look at these dogs and think that they look decidedly hungry. That is just what... that is just what dogs look like. They've got very fast metabolisms. They're always on the search for a meal. Okay, well, I try and learn how to count in Sesame Street style. Lauren has only got one leopard to count, which of course has 2 ears. Let's see whether or not he's using his 4 legs.
We found him, so he did actually walk along the exact same path that our elephant walked along, and he found himself a lovely mound to plonk himself down again. This is actually much more sheltered from the wind, so it's probably actually a little bit more comfortable for him here without that cold breeze running through him. So it's so fascinating that we've got dogs around, we've got all sorts of things happening. So I'm sure Tingana himself is on alert mode. He's aware that he always needs to be careful, he always needs to keep looking and scanning around. And of course, as I say that, he goes back to sleep. But he does always keep popping his head up ever so often. But let's go over to Jamie, something exciting happening over there.
All right, Sleepy Tingana. The pack of wild dogs is now up, spread out. They moved at a speed of light in order to reach the stage of awakeness that they are at. I wish I could go from asleep to awake at that sort of short amount of time. Now we've just got to wait to see what they do. It looks remarkably like they're going to go back to sleep. I give up trying to figure out what these dogs are going to do. I'm not even going to try and predict it. Oh, you're a pretty one. The one on the left there. You're a pretty, pretty dog. I mean, they're all pretty. I just like it when they've got quite a lot of white on them. What's the plan, guys? Yes, no? Come on, sneeze. Sneeze, that we might know whether or not you plan on hunting. Democracy, 1 dog, 1 sneeze. Or not. Well, we could go back to sleep. Yep, eat that tick that you just pulled off your leg. Beautiful. Well, I suppose resource out, resource in. You're eating grass. Sammy Jane is ready for Safari Ferrari. Ferrari safaris. I am too, actually. My muscles have been coiled and poised, ready to spring into action like the dogs. So far, I've been disappointed to the point that I'm now shaking with the anticipation of our mad dash into the bushes. But we all appear to be settling down again. I don't want to take my eyes off them for too long in case... Ooh. Thank you, in case I sneeze. Surprise. Pardon? I voted. That was my vote. Come on, guys. I sneezed. That's interference, Chandra. You can't do that. Interference with the way of things. Ah, they've discounted my vote. That's very rude. That's very specious, dogs. That sort of discrimination is why democracy doesn't always work within various countries in the world. You cannot discriminate. Everyone should have a vote. They're looking. I'm going to move because I think if they do go, they're going to go towards those impalas. So let me just get us around these trees. The impala know that they're there. They've seen them. They have not exactly gone about this in a subtle manner. No, I'm going to blow away. Hello, puppies. Okay. They're not 100% relaxed with the vehicle to the point that they are like, for example, the Investec pack was, or the Investec breakaways. They would come right up to the vehicle and sort of hide in our shade occasionally. These guys, I can see if we get a little bit too close, they start to look at us in a slightly anxious manner. So we won't push the boundaries with them, obviously. Wild animals, you've got to adapt and change your approach depending upon their reactions to you. Kurt would like to know how large of a range of movement a pack of dogs this size would have. Easily 25,000 hectares, probably even more than that. So, although dogs are territorial, it's a sort of they've got a home range and a territory. If they meet other dog packs, then it can turn into an aggressive encounter. But they will still stray into each other's home ranges. So obviously we've seen the Investec breakaways move through this area. Now we see the Hamilton's pack move about here as well. These guys travel all the way up from Manuleti, or have been traveling all the way up from Manuleti down south into Djuma. It would not be strange for them to cover a 25,000 hectare range, possibly even more. And for those of you who don't know what that means, that is, what is that? It's divided by 100. So 250 square kilometers. Is that right? Give or take. The impala are still there, but looking decidedly upset. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I can't count. Okay. I think, Ems, unless Tingana is tap dancing, I think just hold off for 1 second. Just in case they do launch. I can still see those impala. They do know that the dogs are here. So I'm not sure that this is going to work out for the doggies in terms of hunting. Ems has clarified that Tingana is not tap dancing, so we're all good there. What's the plan, pups? I can just hear dwarf mongoose, who've obviously just woken up somewhere around here. I can't see them, but they've obviously just woken up, stuck their heads out of the burrow and discovered that there's wild dogs all around them. Oh, excuse me. 1 man, 2 votes. Here we go. Let's go, guys. Ay, ay, ay. This is where it gets interesting. When their heads are down, ears are back. I think so, yes. I think let's do it. Welcome to a cold and cloudy day where we are with a pack of wild dogs here in the Greater Kruger National Park area of South Africa. My name is Jamie. Oh, here we go. We're off. Pack's racing after a herd of impala. This is happening live right here in South Africa. Holding onto my hat because it is blowing a gale. Perfect hunting weather for these wild dogs. We're going to have to put foot. They're hunting impala. Hold on. They are so fast. Ow. Look at them go. Okay, I'm gonna have to turn up so I can hear your questions. They've already outpaced me. Alrighty. Child of the Universe is very excited. Child of the Universe says awesome and that it's very, very exciting. I've caught up with one up ahead of us. So just to give you an idea, I'm in low range in the vehicle but driving in 4th gear. There we go. Hello, puppies. They missed their impala. They didn't manage, but the impala knew that they were there. They've all now gathered together to regroup. This is the Hamilton's pack of wild dogs. There are 18 of them in total, and they're coming right up past us. This is so cool. I love spending time with wild dogs. One of the most endangered animals that we see out here. Look at that right in front of the vehicle. This is so special. Really, really special animals. They are not feral dogs. They're an entirely different species, also known as painted wolves or painted dogs, and you can see why. It looks as though somebody has splashed paint across their coats. Giant ears. They smell. They have a very unique smell. It's a sort of musty dog scent. We're all off again, full of energy. These dogs can run for hours and hours completely tirelessly. Nature's natural athletes. Oh, this is beautiful. Right next to us. Geared towards strength and stamina. Now, I can't move at the moment because there are quite a lot of them very close behind me. Now, Linda wants to know how these wild dog packs get their names. There's the back of the vehicle. That's where all the dogs are. I can't switch on at the moment because I'll frighten them. So let's just give them a second. There we go. Okay, guys, I'm going to start up now to see if we can move. Let me check. I'm not going to frighten them. Linda wants to know how they... Oh, there's one. How they get their names. They are named usually after the area that they're in. It really just depends upon the circumstances of the pack itself. Oh dear, we're going off-road into some very dense vegetation. I almost feel as though it might be quicker for us to take the road, but let's give it a go. We're going to give the off-roading a go. It's summer, it's thick, it's our rainy season, but I don't want to lose them, especially if they change direction. So I'd rather take the chance of losing them in here than trying to go around. They're all gathered together now again. Good morning to Sue. I suppose for you it is the afternoon. Sue is in Seattle and says that it looks cold on our side. Sue, I imagine that by Seattle standards this is a lovely day in shorts weather. But here in South Africa we've had the last 2 weeks have been over 40 degrees centigrade. So, you know, into the hundreds Fahrenheit. And that's what we've become accustomed to. So now when the temperature drops below 30 degrees centigrade, we get all whiny and wear 2 jackets. It's just a matter of being acclimatized to different conditions. Are we sleeping now? Watching wild dog hunt is, unless you're in an open area, is a truly difficult experience from a driving perspective. They're so fast that you've got to actually be careful that you don't in any way damage yourself, the vehicle, or indeed the cameraman, who could quite easily find himself sitting on the floor behind the vehicle. Courtney, I hear you. Courtney says that a live hunt with dogs is always exciting. It's an experience, that it is. It really, really is. I just find that the beauty of their movement, the way that they run, I was actually talking about it earlier this morning, the way that they run is like liquid. They flow. And there's something about it that suggests that they could just do it for hours at a time without any concern. And the truth is that that is the case. they can run like that and cover easily 20 kilometers or more in the space of a few hours, dashing backwards and forwards. And that's just in a straight line. They probably do triple, quadruple that while they're hunting. And what they do is they do something known as coursing. So they run through the bush and flush the animals that are hiding there. Really, really beautiful, beautiful animals, highly underappreciated, up until relatively recently thought of as a pest, as vermin, as animals that should be removed from an area. Well, since our wild dogs have settled down for now, I think it's time for us to bid our wider audience a farewell. If you want to continue your safari, please Google SafariLive. Lauren has a leopard and Isaac's had lions all morning, and obviously I've been with the wild dogs. So you can continue there. You can send through your questions there as well. All right, from Juma and the Hamiltons pack, I hope you enjoy your day, and I hope you enjoyed a brief visit with some wild dogs. All right. Whew. Okay, I think the puppies are resting for now again. It's been crazy. I just got sandblasted by the sand that was on the bonnet. We're going to send you back across to Isaac in the Mara, find out how his lions are doing and if they're quite as active as our dogs.
Fang just left the dining table, but he's thinking otherwise. Maybe he's gonna have another bite, just for no reason. Or he's thinking twice. I think this is when it's gonna get a little bit messy, like I was saying, when he's gone. But they better behave so that he leaves. Now, he's decided they're not behaving, so he's gone back. Can tell they're moving in, all of them. Well, my wish is he leaves so that they can have a little bit more. And then there's going to be a lot of action. And actually his belly looks very, very full. Yeah, that is phlegm testing. Using some what is called the Jacobson's organ, which is situated in the upper part of his nasal passage. You will send some chemical contents into his brain to tell him if whoever peed there is coming into season. Look at those fangs. You see he's missing one fang? He's got 3. That's why I call him Fang. So next time you come here and see him, know that he's called Fang. He's got 2 wounds in his face, one to the right, one to the left. I don't know from what, but maybe it's during eating. They're not usually very friendly at the dining table, especially when something is small. Maybe this is from a previous kill. Look at his belly. Oh! Wow, look at that. Oh, he's peeing at the same time. Yeah, that's the wound. I must say, no, it's not very fresh. It looks older, so it could have been from a previous kill. That's a scratch from his fellow Pride members. Probably a male, because the younger guys will try not to fight with him. And now he's gonna clean himself. Typical of most cats. After eating, they'll try and get rid of all that smell and blood to avoid insects. Dan, I think I had Dan Van. Well, with this many lions like this, nobody would dare. But if there were only like 3 females, a clan of hyenas will gang up and chase them away. So it is possible when there are fewer females, but when there's a pride like this, they don't even think about it. This is a place you don't want to be if you're a hyena, because they will actually kill you if you're a hyena. You can tell everybody has moved in. They all have surrounded. And the less the food gets, Ivy, you ask if the rain keeps the flies away. Yes. Yes, it does keep them away. And right now you can tell there's no flies at all on the cats. But when it gets warm, there's going to be lots of flies here. I was saying the more they eat, the less food it becomes, the more aggressive they're going to become. And right now, they're trying to dismantle the kill. So eventually you'll see some of the pride members running with bits, maybe a leg, a pelvis, a shoulder blade, a vertebra, and eat at leisure. Some of them are not where there is meat, so they're being forced to eat just the skin. The ears folded back means that they are not very excited being close to one another, and anytime they can strike. You see, everybody's moved in. Males are actually very respected by pride members, and usually, unlike in humans where, you know, you would want as a man your kids to eat and your wife, here you eat fast and then think about everybody else later. That is a lion. I'm keeping myself warm with a cup of coffee here. It is rather cold. We came here around 6:45, so we've been here almost 2 hours. Yes, he's got a little bit of a takeaway, and he's going to eat it at leisure. It's much better when they have their own, then they'll try and dominate and enjoy it by themselves. And this is what is happening here. It looks very quiet, but it can get very, very messy. It can get very messy. And, you know, let me send you all the way to South Africa, where you can see another one of our cats.
Well, my situation remains that I'm watching a very comfortable, cozy, and most likely warm, sleepy cat listening to the Cape turtle dove. Cuckoo, 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 cuckoo. And I have no caffeine. So I am feeling just like Tingana right now, and I wish I could just curl up into a little ball of fluff and go to sleep. But the wind keeps us awake, and we definitely cannot do that. So we're back to just watching and admiring our cat dreaming. And I do often wonder what on earth he dreams about. Any ideas, anybody, what Mr. Tingana could possibly be dreaming about right now? But he does pop his head up every so often to have a little bit of a look around, so he's not done it in a few minutes. So I do believe we could be due a little check unless he's gone into a deep sleep. Netflix? Oh, interesting one, Emma. Netflix. Possibly coffee, cigars, ladies. There could be a huge range of things that he's dreaming about right now. But for those of you who maybe were not watching the other day when we had an epic leopard sighting, I'll just recap for you, because we did come across Tingana and Tandy mating. Tingana did walk off after the mating, but they did mate 4 times. Now, as with most big cats, the mating duration spans over a number of days, normally between about 2 to 5 in leopards, and it's over very quickly. So we did witness it happen 4 times, but I think we only managed to capture it live once because it happened so rapidly. And Tingana walked off, and Tandy went back to her kill, an impala which she had stashed at the bottom of a marula tree. When we followed her, we found Tlalamba there, and Tandy was a little bit grumpy with Tlalamba and told her to go away, so she disappeared. And fleetingly, we caught a glimpse of another leopard. Now, I mistakenly thought it was female because I didn't see the male genitals, but Senzo managed to capture it on camera, so we were able to get a screenshot. It's not the best screenshot in the world, but you can definitely see the testicles, so we know straight away it was, in fact, a male. So it's an unknown male to us, not got a name, but that was 4 leopards in that one sighting, and there's lots of different theories on Tandy and Tingana, so we will come back to that, but for now we're going to send you over to Isaac.
Well, you just missed a little bit, but that female seems to have been injured during the hunt. She can hardly walk fast. I don't know where she's hurt, but now that the males have moved out, she's trying to move in, but you can tell. See how she walks? She's in pain. And she's trying to move in. She's been sitting all by herself quite some ways back, and now that the males are moving, she's gonna try and eat. And actually, the female to the right has let her move in, which is quite nice. I think it's actually a young male. He sympathizes with her and he understands. And see, I think he's giving back, saying thank you. I think you understand what's going on with me. But she's definitely very hard. See, she cannot turn like others are doing. See, one step at a time. It's really hard for her to move. And this is what I'm telling you. This buffalo didn't go down easy. That could have been caused by a gore. I don't know what these 2 guys have heard, but they've woken up. They're looking around. This is what you're looking at. It's live, and I'm here. I've been here quite a while. And this is amazing. This is the Olololo Pride males. To the left is half-tail, and to the right is fang. They are from what we call them Kichwa males, who dominate the Olololo 19. These 2 guys roam between 2 territories. In between Kichwa, they have another pride there, and then they have these guys over here. That is behind there. Brent, yes, they are massive. This is at their prime. Looking, according to my experience, look like they're around 9-10 years. This is at their prime, where they actually know their power to reckon, and they look very, very healthy. You can tell they've had their fill, and now they're letting in everybody to eat. It doesn't mean that they wouldn't go back for seconds. They might go back for seconds later. After this, I'm going to try and give you a different angle. But that female seated there, you see her? That is the one that moved in, and she looks like she is very injured. She was walking with a lot of difficulty. I think the pain is kicking in. Yes, I'm gonna reposition, and I'll send you to Juma, where Jamie is still hanging out with the beautiful wild dogs.
Sorry, I was just thinking about something. That poor lioness. It's the thing about being social. The fact that you've got social cats. I'm distracted. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of how to balance a whole load of different things here. Let me catch up with them, and I'll explain what I mean. There's a lot of talk amongst biologists about the fact that social groupings or social structures, large complex social structures like this, like a pride of lions, like a clan of spotted hyenas, is an advanced evolutionary trait. Oh, a pile of wild dog scat there. because of course it involves all sorts of complexities within the dynamics, but at the same time it means that an injured animal has a much better chance of actually surviving. Can I carry on a little bit further forward, guys? You're not going to stress? Just watching them very carefully. No, we're good. So we spoke about injured wild dogs surviving. Of course, you've watched with the Nkuhumas, with the Mangeni males, and the fact that the Nkuhumas actually really essentially saved the life of that one mangy Mangeni male, and that injured female also survived. We're off! We're off! We're racing once again. Hold on, everyone. We gotta go. You know things are going crazy when you pull off in third gear. Oh, up a bump. Okay, we're just trotting for now. I don't know what they've heard or what they've spotted. It's a much better direction for them to be going in. Far preferable to that way, which would of course take them to Arathusa. What have you seen, guys? I'm looking for that body posture, that low down head, ears back. It's one of my favorite sights to see. Oh, Laura Moore says, so many dogs. I know, isn't it spectacular? Big wild dog pack. I mean, one dog is great. 18 dogs is even better. Not that I still haven't managed to count 18. That being said, I haven't managed to do a proper head count since they got up and led us into absolute chaos. Now, it's either grassy or classy or possibly something else that I've misheard. Wants to know, do I know which ones are the alpha pair? I actually don't, I'm afraid. I'm really not certain. Crafty. Oh, crafty. Crafty with an F, not an F. Crafty wants to know which are the alpha pair. I honestly don't know. I think that somebody like James Richard would be the best person to ask, because he actually does know the packs. I'm working on it. I'm getting there. I'm slowly collating all of this information. It's just a vast amount of work that we are sifting through. So I don't know with the Hamilton's pack. I assume that there are photos of them denning at some point. Oh, I'm going to have to do something. I'm going to have to do something now before it becomes the dog's breakfast. There is a beanie on the ground. I'm going to rescue the beanie quickly. BK lost his beanie. There it is over there. I'm just going to get it before the dogs do. That was because we've gone back on ourselves. So that was during the manic chase. Just hold on. I'll get it. We're all good. We're all good. Okay, what have you seen, guys? The definite stillness to their body language. They're listening to something. It's definitely not me that they're listening to. There's almost something nervous about them. Oh, licorice. Driving over wild aniseed. It smells so nice. Smell of summer. What's up, guys? I did actually want to come this way to look for the Nkuhumas. So there's always that possibility as well. They're listening to something where that hyena went to. Kalina says that was so graceful. I assume, of course, Kalina's talking about the backwards dip to collect the beanie, but she could equally be talking about the wild dogs who are truly graceful in their own way. We're off again. Hold on. Oh, it's greeting, it's greeting, it's greeting. This is so nice. Hold on. Watch your head. You good? Another dog came in. I don't know where she was, or it was. It looked like a she. Listen, listen, listen. Oh, so excited. Oh, such excited puppies. So many dogs. So many dogs everywhere. Maybe there were 2 missing, because one, I swear, just came in that I did not see. This is so cool. They're dashing around us. I'm not paying attention at all to my monitor. I'm not watching at all. They're just watching them skip around and jump. They're full of energy. They're happy. Tails wagging in the air. Soft and fringed. Beautiful. Brent is going to be so jealous. Everyone's saying this is very, very cute. It is very cute. I mean, what little of it I can see through the howling gale. Oh, that was a sudden change of pace. I mean, it was lovely. It was lovely until the wind decided to redouble its blowing efforts, and it's one of those really harsh winds where it keeps blowing the words out of my mouth as I'm trying to speak. Duck down so you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18! 18 dogs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17... What? Huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Ha! 18 dogs. There were 2 missing. Or at least there was 1 missing, and maybe Genre counted 17. There was definitely 1 missing. I'm learning, guys! This morning I could only count up to 16. Now I can manage 18. To think I once used to be able to do calculus. Oh, thanks, Ems. Emma says that tomorrow we will do colours. I'd like to do shapes as well, if that would be okay. There's tree-shaped, and dog-shaped, and grass-shaped. Emma says we'll fit it into the schedule next to the alphabet. Alright, that was awesome. I'm very excited. I don't know if perhaps those dogs that went missing actually just were missing during the impala hunt and I just couldn't count before that. But either it might also explain why the pack was so settled this morning. Why they haven't moved from where they were, because they might have been waiting from where they lost a pack member or 2. That might have been where they were waiting. I actually suspect that's the case. Rather than running around looking. Okay, I think I have a sneaky, horrible suspicion we're going to start moving west, so I'm going to jump on the Game Drive radio shortly. While we do, let us go and catch up with the Duke of Djuma.
What a morning it sounds like it has been. Even although our cat is not that active, it sounds like it has been an action-packed morning. Now let me go back to my train of thought. I'm just rewinding in my brain. Yes. So I recapped on what happened the other day, and as many of you know, Tandy and Tingana were mating. That is what we witnessed. Now there's been a lot of different theories about this, a lot of people putting forward ideas, and of course we ourselves have talked about it aplenty back at camp. Now there's some people have put forward ideas that Tandy could have mainly been distracting Tingana from that big impala kill that was stashed not too far away in the bushes near a marula tree. Other people have said it could be to protect Tlalamba, who was also nearby next to the kill. And of course there could just be the fact that she was mating. She could either be coming into estrus or fully in estrus. Now, it's such an interesting topic, and I guess in order to get to the real bottom of it, we will just have to wait and see if indeed Tandy does become pregnant. Otherwise, I don't think Sleepy Tingana here is going to reveal the answers. There's lots of dynamics to think about. I personally feel, as the story went on, as everything progressed and we learned more and more about what was happening during the drive, that there could be a combination of factors going in. I don't personally think that Tandy would just do that to defend a kill or a carcass, but of course the kill was next to Tlalamba, her cub, and she would definitely be defending her. But I also believe she could possibly be coming into estrus as well. I do think that could be a potential option. So many people have put forward theories, and it's great reading them because we really don't know. We can only go by what we observe. And of course, there is that part of me that does hope there might be little spotty fluff balls coming in around 100 days, shall we say. So at this moment, we don't know. And of course, we did spot an unknown male around, fleetingly, as I mentioned. So would Tandy have mated with that male? Could she have? Did she have? There's so many factors to consider that we just don't have the answers to, and I just wish we could get them from this cat, but he keeps his secrets well hidden within him. So it's been a great topic of discussion, and I think it's one we should continue having, of course. But I'm just not sure when we will be able to get to the bottom of this. Of course, if months pass and Tandy shows no sign of being pregnant, then of course that will reveal that maybe she wasn't potentially in full estrus and the matings were not a success. No fertilization occurred. So it's going to be a really interesting few months. And when I arrived, many people, including James himself, did say that Tandy does have one more litter in her. Everybody feels that she's got one more litter left to go. She's been very successful producing offspring, and I hope she does. Of course, I hope we do have little cubs running around. And Tingana, of course, has led a very rich and fulfilled life, full of all sorts of peaks and troughs, learning about this cat's life, and he's obviously been very successful at mating with many ladies as well, which is what he could potentially be dreaming about. So that was just a recap for you on the situation that did play out the other day, and it just kept on developing and developing like a movie. Yes, lots of viewers are saying it's very interesting, of course, and I've read all the theories and I appreciate them completely. We obviously don't have the answers, so obviously a hyena came into the mix known as Hart, who was sniffing around the area where they had been mating. So it was obviously the kill that actually drew her to that area, but the fact that she was sniffing the mating site was just also an incredible thing to witness, walking into an area where two leopards were mating. Brave hyena. So it was a very action-packed morning, and I really am intrigued to see how it does play out. Now, obviously, we've stayed here with Tingana this morning, and he hasn't done much. He's done his typical sleepy cat thing, but I haven't seen any kills or anything stashed up in the tree. I can't smell any carcass around. We haven't had any updates on Hosanna, and of course, Miss Tandy herself is not present. So we will keep staying with Tingana, because you never know when he is going to get up and move. He did move with that elephant, and I really wanted to see what would happen if those two encountered each other, but of course he's just come back to sleepy cat mode. So we will keep you updated on that, and you are welcome to keep sending in your theories regarding the mating. It's all very interesting to have these discussions and to see what people think. Classic Tingana mode, isn't it just? And you know, he was just scratching his head on obviously a little bit mud there on the mound or something that's next to his head, and it just made him look like a young playful cat. It just made him look so adorable when he was doing that. And he is in fact a dominant Duke of Juma, whose life is just so enthralling, and obviously gone through moments of being incredibly successful to moments of being slightly weaker and slightly sick. So his life just continues to interest me. And of course, his father and son relationship with Hosanna is adorable. Now, Chris is asking a question. I'm just going to ask Emma to repeat it, because I was halfway through a sentence there, but I do know it is about mating and estrus. So Emma will repeat that for me, Chris, and I will get back to you. Chris is asking, let me make sure I get this question right. It's been put forward quite complicated. Would leopards prefer to sleep rather than mate in the presence of true estrus? I hope I've got that right, and please do correct me if I'm wrong, Emma. I think a male being a male, in any category of mammal, if there is a lady present who is in full estrus, she will... Oh, wind, my hat just blew off there, sorry about that. She will be releasing lots of scents, and of course it is the female that goes after the male, and I witnessed it the other day and it was incredible. It is the female that completely puts herself forward to the male, attracting him, showing the raisedness of her rump, and she does put herself quite literally in his face. So male like Tingana will naturally be attracted to the scents that she's releasing, and of course it is his innate drive to reproduce and spread his wonderful genetics around. So I do believe that if there was a female in full estrus, not sort of false or early onset of estrus, Tingana would of course not prefer to be sleeping given that opportunity. Even although he does look very lazy right now, he is quite active, Tingana. He does walk around a lot, and of course if there was a lady here, I do believe he would be a little bit more alert than this. So thank you, Chris. That's a great question. Of course, with males, we did discuss this a little the other day, it is an innate drive within them to reproduce. So, of course, being with the ladies would be preferred over sleeping. But there is no ladies around at the moment. So he's probably catching up on an eventful few days, and we have seen Tingana during the night, and he is known to walk a lot. He's not a lazy cat. He's always walking, always on the move, and he's scent marks all throughout the night. So he's probably catching up on lots of much needed beauty sleep through a very eventful few days. Again, Emma, you're going to have to repeat that question. It's incredibly windy here. I have got my head hidden right down below the steering wheel to try and block the wind. Oh, question's disappeared. Oh, do leopards look larger? I'm not actually going to tell you what I thought that question was, Kel6. I did completely misinterpret that, but it's a little bit X-rated, so I will not go there this morning. Do leopards look larger in person than on camera? Now, that is a tricky one to answer, but a very good question. I think their whole presence is actually really overwhelming. Maybe this is the case with any animal, but I'm going to make it specific to leopards. You get used to seeing photos of them and videos of them, and of course we watch them for 6 hours every day. But I think when you are in the presence of one, it is quite overpowering, and it does make them feel larger when you're just completely in awe of this animal, especially Tingana. So as I mentioned earlier, we had Tingana on the right and an elephant on the left, and he used our car as a sort of, well, literally a roadblock, a shield, to sort of check out the elephant, but he stayed very close to our car to hide himself. It's very smart, and when he came close like that, you just see the power and the strength in this male. And yeah, I probably would say they do seem larger, but I don't know if that is because of their size or just their whole presence. I mean, look at the size of his paws. Oh, they are just massive, big fat cat paws. And I still remember the first time I seen Hosanna, and I still remember just how engaged you become in these leopards' lives. And butter wouldn't melt. That's what I would say right now looking at Tingana. It looks like butter wouldn't melt. But of course we do know that's not the case. He has been thumped a few times in his life, and of course he's done a lot of thumping. Now, 13 years is a long time. I don't want to reveal my age, but that would make me very young. So if you think of all the things that have happened in your life during that time, you can imagine what's happened in Tingana's life during that time. And he certainly has had many ladies and been very successful with Tandy herself. Look at that. Just adorable. horrible. And he hasn't popped his head up at all, like I thought he would. So he has obviously gone into quite a deep slumber there. Normally when they're not fully sleeping, they will keep bringing their head up and just having a little look around. But not this morning, so it must have been an eventful night last night. Sometimes I just wish we could follow these cats and just see exactly what they get up to in the night time. But of course we don't do that. But I always wonder, what did you do last night? So I'm finally glad I got round to discussing the life of Tingana with you, and we are going to stay with him a little bit longer. He's brought his head up just on cue, but for now, let's send you up to Isaac.
Yes, the dining table is still busy. The king and the queen and the prince and princesses are still on the dining table. The kings have left to the left. Now everybody else is left by the table. Remember, this was a full-grown buffalo, and a fully grown buffalo weighs up to around 900 kilos. The guys we have seen here, I would say around 800. And all is left of the 800 is almost nothing. You can tell they're still skinning the rib cage. There's a bit of skin. Even the skin is big time on the menu now. They are busy. Remember, these guys have been starving. They've been getting, little nibbles. But now there is a very big meal. Jonathan, you ask, does this pride hunt elephants? No. We've never seen them hunt elephant. Lions in places like Sovuti in Botswana have been known to go for elephants. But to go for elephants, there must be a very, very big pride, and they must be very, very desperate, and also there must be nothing left there. I don't know if you can hear the sounds, but definitely after Fang left, the dining table has become busy. There's a few jackals hanging around. You saw one earlier. He's hoping to get some scraps. It's very loud. We're quite a distance away. Almost 40 meters, which is around 120 feet. There isn't enough for everybody, and that's why there is lots of growling. By the end of today, the only thing that will be left here, I think, is the skull and maybe some of the ribs, because these guys are too many for just one buffalo. They're too many. Over here we've counted around plus minus 14. So a big percentage of the Olololo plus the two Kichwa males, Fang and Halftail, are here, very present. This kill, we think it was made very early this morning, maybe around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and the two males have been on it until we arrived. We found them quite early, and they just left, and everybody else is getting their fill. The only one who's not eating is that female to the left of this young guy. Is the only one that's not feeding. Everybody else is busy. This guy has got a leg. I wonder how a buffalo raw leg tastes. Anna Marie, you ask me if lions ever injure each other while eating. Yes, I don't know if you were watching about 25 minutes ago when Fang walked right towards us, and he had 2 wounds on either side in between the nose and the eyes. Those are definitely an injury from, another pride member while feeding. They do cause some injuries using claws and sometimes their fangs, their canines. They do, cause injury. They do actually injure one another. This is the only time lions are aggressive towards each other. When feeding, it's everybody for himself and the meal for all of us. Everybody tries to get as much as possible, and they're very aggressive towards each other. If they were to actually bite the same spot, one will definitely smack the other one. That is one of the brave, very brave jackals that is trying to find any scrap. You can tell he's eaten a little bit. There's a good number of them. There are I think about 4 of them scattered around that area. And they take care of those little chunks that yeah, they are finding those little scraps. Yeah, I think we have lots of action down in Juma, in outskirts of Kruger, where Jamie has got the wild dogs and they're very active.
I'm afraid the action is over, largely, apart from if we potentially blow away, which could actually happen at this stage. I'm trying to hold on to my hat because that's where my microphone lives. So if it blows off my head, we have more than a problem of just the fact that I lose my hat. So unfortunately, we lost them. Dogs have gone into Arathusa, which is an area that we do not drive on. So we've watched them vanish off. We briefly watched the collared male come back onto the road and look a bit lost for a second before he caught the scent of the others and dashed off in the correct direction. So now I'm just trying to find as much as possible for this afternoon's TV show. I'm going to head towards Treehouse Dam. I'll have a look and see if there's any sign of that female leopard that we had tracks for yesterday. I'm also wondering about Hosanna and where he went, if he's hanging out near Dad or not. And I'm trying to figure out how we're going to babysit Tingana today. How we're going to keep track of him. Because there's a good chance in this weather that he is going to move at some point. Alright, speaking of Mr. Tingana, he's going to spend the whole morning being very lazy, and then he's going to get up and move as soon as we finish. I can guarantee it. Let's find out what Lauren thinks.
Yes, I would like to keep my eyes on Tingana this morning because of course he will get up at some point, and it's always interesting to see exactly where he's going to go. But I also need my breakfast and my coffee, Tingana, so be careful how you play the remainder of this special sunrise drive. So don't forget to send in your questions and comments or anything you want to discuss about all the leopard dynamics that are happening at the moment. You're welcome to send them in and I will try to do my best. But we were talking about earlier how we thought it was Hosanna because that's what we were expecting, and of course we got the unexpected in Tingana. And oh, we've got a head raise. Obviously heard a noise. Having a look around. You're probably not going to do much more than that, are you, boy? And it's amazing how you can pick out key identification features in animals. And I think it was Chris who actually really kindly shared that Tingana actually has a shepherd's hook outline just above his left eye, which is something you could use to potentially identify this individual. And people see smiley faces on the spot pattern. People see lots of different things. And it's amazing how different things stand out to different people's eyes or perception. I mean, for an example, there is a hyena known as June, And some people can see juice written on the side, and some people just cannot. It just depends how you look at things, of course. And I was in charge of a huge sea turtle project in Maldives, actually, and I think I was able to solely recognise about 70 individual sea turtles just by the scales on their side of their face. So I think the more you look at these animals, the more things stand out and you can really get a feel for their individual appearances. Such a fascinating topic. And there's lots of different bodies out there and organisations that are actually really focusing on animal ID. You can't really learn about animals unless you sort of get into the nitty-gritties of their dynamics, their lineages, their relationships. And in order to do that, of course, you have to know the individuals. Going to have to repeat that one, Emma. But when you do look at Tingana, you can see, look at all those notches in his ears, and he's got quite some scars on his nose. I'm not sure if they're visible from there. So obviously not all of these markings would have been there in his younger days. It all happens to us all, but of course he's led a very full life, and many battles, I'm sure, have been fought, and these are the markings of them. So as they become older, it's probably easier. Colleen sees mushrooms above his left eye. Okay, let me just have a look. Mushrooms. Oh, yeah, I kind of see it. Can you see it, Craig? Yeah, I kind of see what you're referring to. Okay, so we've got a shepherd's hook and mushrooms. And of course, many of you know you use that spot pattern on the top whisker line there. But it's also good to look at other things that just stand out to you. And something that you see might not exactly be what I see. But I do see the mushroom and I do see the hook. Okay, good. Now, of course, standing next to his son, Hosanna, you could not mistake who is who. They are very different in appearance. But maybe to people who aren't familiar with these leopards, it's good to just have little features that you can maybe spot from a distance. It's not easy spotting a leopard from quite some distance and being able to say who it is. And even Mr. Hukamuri, me and Craig were actually just discussing that he has a very different appeal about him. I personally always feel that he looks like he's ready for a fight. He's not, or maybe he is, but he just has that look about him. He has a very different face. Sorry, I've been hiding down here from the wind. He has a very different face from the likes of Hosanna and Tingana. So you just look at different facial features and markings on the body, and that's how you can really identify animals. So Tingana's quite easy. He has a huge dewlap, and I find it really easy to look at his eyes. He has very distinctive eyes for me. I don't quite know what it is about them. But you can actually identify sea turtles now. You can identify whale sharks. You can work on eagle rays. And that's just a handful of them in the ocean. They do huge projects all across the world now on giraffes, obviously leopards. I think they're working on lions. All sorts of different ways that you can identify animals just by certain features. So we're going to stay here, of course, with the sleepy cat. We're not going anywhere. But for now, you are going back up to Isaac and the Masai Mara.
I have left the lions and I decided to check on our neighbor, the lone hyena with the two cubs. Looks like she's not home. This is where she resides. We haven't been here for about 2 days. And I don't know if she's around. Look, from the outside, she's not home. That is the den over there. That is where we've been seeing her and her two cubs. But she is absent. Usually she is lying at the entrance, which gives the young guys confidence to come out. From where I was with the lions, I couldn't see here, so I had to follow the road and come here. She seems to be nowhere. Or maybe she's hiding quite close to she's hiding quite close to where the lions are, hoping to get some scraps. There was some hyena back there, but I don't know which direction it went. By the looks, it could be her, and I hope she doesn't stay there or get too close, because those lions are going to go for her, and if they kill her, it means it's the end of the cubs. Her not being here tells me that she's not here, and instead of resting here, I'm gonna try and go back to where those lions are and see them finish the kill. Well, seems like it's been a beautiful morning. I have elephants, I have my lions, and it's beautiful. And the other thing that I just spotted, I would like to show you, it's our local resident, the black-chested snake eagle. Remember he caught the snake the other day? He's right over there. And I'm gonna go and say hello. Please come with me. Over there. This is a big herd of elephant. So beautiful. So fresh. There's no wind this morning, so it's not as cold. Yeah, I'm gonna stop here, and Bungay is gonna try and give you a picture of the snake eagle. Hold on. I'm gonna try. No, sorry. Sorry, false alarm. It happens. I thought it was him, but actually it's a bush. Sorry about that. If I find him, I'm gonna come back to you. But what happened is, 2 days ago, we came to look at the hyena den, and while we were observing the hyena den, we spotted this black-chested snake eagle. And he was looking and sticking out this certain area, and all of a sudden he went down, wow, and he stayed on the ground for a few seconds. Then all of a sudden, boom, he came out with a snake, wiggling in his legs. Unbelievable. It's one of those things that everybody wants to see, and that's why, I'm so excited, to think that it was him. But he hangs around this area. That's why I call him a local. Yeah. Let me see. He's actually there. There we go. I see him. There we go. There. Yeah, he's there. Yeah. Just spotted him. He's a local. There he is. Boom. Gotcha. Yes, this guy is a local. And I've seen him quite a few numbers here. And I knew he was around. And my instincts were very right. He wasn't very far. Yes. This guy caught a snake, and it was so amazing to see him do that. And that's why I was so excited. And now actually I'm much more relaxed, that you have seen him. Black-chested snake eagle, just like the name refers, they feed on snakes. And it's a family of a few snake eagles. He's one of the most common, mainly feeding on snakes. I felt sorry for the snake. That is one part that I didn't say. But there has to be a balance. When there are too many of them, the snake eagle has to get, control the numbers. And also, if he doesn't eat them, he will starve to death. So although I feel sorry for the snake, I also feel like, the eagle needs to eat also. So there has to be a balance. And it cannot be that there's too many eagles and there's nobody to get rid of them, or too many snakes and there's nobody to get rid of them. He did his job. Yes, I did feel sorry for snake, but he did his job. Rhythm, we haven't seen a nest yet, but I would say him being so local and seeing him so very many times means maybe he's taking out a certain area around here, and because they pair, very soon we might have some chicks and we might see them, you know, rearing them around here, because he's been here for the last almost 3 weeks. That's why I call him a local now. It is very nice when you know your neighbors, and these are our neighbors. I'm going back to the lions. This track, we are the only ones that have made it because we've been using it to come to see our lone hyena, who has decided to... Yes, yeah, we've made it because we want to see our local hyena also. And while I take you to the lions, I'll send you to Lauren, who's got another local all the way in Juma, South Africa.
And we're still here, and Tingana still has not moved an inch, which I am obviously very glad of. It's Jamie that's had the run around today. I'm so jealous of that wild dog sighting. It sounds incredible. I'm super happy for her. One of my most terrifying moments since joining SafariLive was Deed, in fact, being on the back of a vehicle with Brent, hearing him scream puppies and racing off at top Ferrari speed while I hold on to my hat and my dear life. It's one of the most terrifying experiences, so great job on Jamie. Tingana definitely makes life a little bit easier for me. Thank goodness for that. And talking of fondest memories, although that one was not fond, probably my most favourite memory of Tingana literally just happened so recently, where he actually went fishing. Well, maybe not fishing, but he was eating fish down at Chitwa Dam, for any of those who are not sure what I'm talking about. It was just incredible seeing this huge, powerful, dominant male just skit around the edges of Chitwa Dam and collect fish. And you could see that he was very nervous. Of course, there's crocodiles around and all sorts of things. And for anybody that did miss it, I have actually captured a perfect moment of Tingana eating fish that I wanted to share with you all. Let's see if we can get this. I'll hold it nice and still for Craig, but the wind is blowing. There we go. Are you able to see that? Sideways. Let me just adjust. Hold on. The lighting is not perfect. There we go. There we go. Look at Tingana's face as he eats some fish. I love this capture. He doesn't look too enthralled by the fish, I must say. There's a look of distaste and disgust there. Great photo. Thank you, Linny. It was a perfect moment, and it was just a really wonderful sight, and to see him collecting all these fish, just sneaking off and just eating them and then coming back for more. But he kind of ate them in a manner. I didn't feel like he was fully enjoying the fish, but of course it was food and it was in abundance. Wasn't that right, Tingana? That, even though it happened very recently, just has to be my favourite moment with this cat. So now I think of him as a tough fisherman. But of course leopards are opportunistic. So they will take any food source that they can get their hands on. Hunting requires strength. It requires a lot of energy, a lot of espresso in Tingana's case. So it takes a lot out of them to constantly hunt. So of course if there was fish available, then Mr. Tingana's going to go for it. But the smell was rather overpowering at that dam, so it definitely would have been quite a challenge for anybody to try and taste that fish, but obviously it wasn't an issue for our boy here. Look at his ear just twitching there. He must be in a deep dream. Surf and turf, I think that was from Kisme. Yes, surf and turf quite literally was right available for him to help himself. And it was with Tristan, of course, but I was on the back of the vehicle, and it was just a great moment to watch. We just had to make sure we didn't inhale through our nostrils. It was all mouth breathing for that drive. Francis, that's a very good question, Francis, about fish bones. I actually asked Tristan that myself because I genuinely wasn't sure. Now, we all know that if we eat fish bones, they're very, very sharp and small. They're the type of bone that can really get lodged in your throat and actually cause some people to even choke to death. It's not pleasant. Now, I don't eat fish, but people that do, I know that they don't also like having the fish bones. So it was actually one of the topics of conversations that we had during that drive, and we sort of came to the conclusions that leopards eat such a variety of food, from, you know, tortoises right through to big carcasses where they may crunch on the odd bone, and I really don't think fish bones would actually catch in his throat or bother him. Now, fish bones are quite easy to break in comparison to the bones of an impala or any other sort of mammal. So I really don't think they would affect him. I don't think he would be too bothered about the fish bones. And he definitely swallowed the whole fish, so bones and all, and it definitely didn't seem to affect him because he's still here chilling away. But that's a really good thought, Francis. We did actually think that ourselves. Nobody really likes a fish bone. So after her hectic morning, she'll be in desperate need of a builder's tea now. Let's send you over to Jamie and see what she's searching for now.
I am relaxing. I am really relaxing, but I'm also sort of stressed as well. I'm relaxed and stressing at the same time. It's a unique type of combination known to people who do yoga before they go about their busy city lives. They're relaxed, they're trying not to think about it, but they are actually stressed as well. I'm stressed because I'm wondering about tonight and the TV show. We of course have 2 hours of the Sunset Safari also to find something, but I haven't covered quite as much ground as I intended. Not that I'm complaining, because a day spent with, a morning spent with dogs is brilliant. It's wonderful. I would have done the same over and over again if I were given the different options. But now I'm just wondering about trying to find us different animals. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. My biggest concern is just that with this wind, I'm not too worried about cats, but with this wind, I have a horrible suspicion that lots of animals are going to go running away from us, including antelope and all sorts of things. But we'll see. We will see. I haven't heard any reports of lions, but it's very quiet on the reserve. It's only Aubrey, myself, and Lauren out. Oh, apparently you all termed it stress-laxing. Stress-laxing? I think that, okay, we'll go with it. We'll go with stress-laxing. I also feel like there's a point at which we get so stressed that you go out the other side and go into a state of artificial relaxation, purely on the basis that at this point, all the things are going to happen regardless of whether or not you change anything. I'm not sure what you would call that. I'm not looking at you all the time. It's just because I'm concentrating on looking for tracks. We've only got a little bit left of the morning safari, and I dare not be late for the morning meeting. So we'll look very, very carefully. Hosanna, where have you gone? Yes, punctuality is not a strong suit of mine. I get very distracted while I'm out here. I suspect, where would Hosanna have gone? If he's not hanging out to Dad, there's a chance that he's gone wandering up Gowrie Cutline or Mvubu Road. I just don't know. Okay. While we go off searching for something, whatever that something happens to be, let's bounce you back across to Isaac and his presumably very large lions.
We're back at the lion dining table, and order seems to be to have been maintained in the last few minutes as we got back. Somebody has decided to dive by herself. You see, she's got a leg to the left over there. We have decided to move a little bit back because there is a male. Fang has decided to move closer to us, but those guys are quite a distance. You see how busy they are. They are dismantling the ribs. You can tell the ribs are starting to get loose. You see that? If it was fewer lions, they would have left the rib cage intact because there is enough meat surrounding the rib cage. But in this case, this pride is too big for just one buffalo. I would say, actually, I might be wrong, but it is one of the biggest prides we have in the Masai Mara, and maybe the biggest pride in the Mara Triangle. That is where we are. When I say the Mara Triangle, we have two sides of the Mara. The whole of Mara is around 1,500 square kilometers. The Mara Triangle is almost, half of it, and it is separated by the Great Mara River. This is where we are. So on this side of the river, I would say the Olololo 19 are one of the biggest prides in the Masai Mara. This is Fang, close to us. Hif. Definitely, you ask the injured female. Yes, she's feeding. And I'm very happy for her because the others haven't actually pulled the kill away from where she moved in. Yes, she's feeding. She's amongst that pile over there. It's like a pile. She's there. She's among that pile. You see that pile of lions feeding? A very busy dining table. And here the dining table is all raw buffalo. Can you hear the birds calling? Apart from the noisy Toyota, there is a lot of chirping the birds. Yeah, that's one of the young males. Tracy, you ask, could he be related? Hard question to answer, but from where Scar used to dominate, and here is not very far. It's only about 20 kilometers. So they could be related somehow. Maybe their grandparents were related because it's quite a distance. But I don't know the history that far. I know Scar, history, but I don't know Half-Tail and Fang. They could be related. I'm not sure. Well, I hope you're joining in this because this is happening at the moment. It is live. The only thing that's not alive here is the dead buffalo. Since Fang left, there has been a lot of feeding by the youngsters. All these youngsters, majority of them are males. The future is very bright for them if they continue eating like this. And actually, it is amazing because they are feeding and there is some zebra that are walking far left and these guys are looking at them. It's like, we want zebra now. Yeah, there, we gotta show you the zebra right now. There's some zebra that are running. You see that? There's some zebra running there. Those guys are like, we want zebra now. Yeah, these guys are very smart zebras, I would say, because they normally come up all the way to camp. And the rest, I think they know that there are no cats around us. And then in the morning, they come back to the plains. And this is the case And those two lions were looking at them, saying, you know, now we want zebra. This is one of the young, actually one of the fully grown females. And she's decided to break away. Yeah. Well, it is amazing, you know, to be sharing this with you. And I hope you're going to come back, because I'm going to send you all the way back, you know, to Jamie, who's got Hosanna. I hope he's going to feed.
And yes, we are indeed still here, just admiring this beautiful, handsome boy. Isn't it crazy how you can think of an animal as handsome? But I genuinely do feel like Tingana is really handsome. Duke of Juma is incredibly, strikingly handsome. That's exactly what I would say about him. It's much better than the Duke of Edinburgh. Where I'm from in Scotland, we have a Duke of Edinburgh, and he's nowhere near as dashing or as handsome as Tingana. So I'd much rather be looking at this little face here right now. I have been pondering. Oh. Emma agrees with me on the Duke of Edinburgh comment. Yes, definitely nowhere near Tingana's level. So we have been pondering when the sleepy cat is going to get up. It was obviously getting a little bit later into the morning. I wonder exactly how long he will stay here for. And we hope, of course, that he'll be around this afternoon. He's famous for stealing kills of his son. He doesn't solely rely on that, of course, but he's famous for it. I do think if Hosanna was in the area and he does come across the scent of a kill or the scent of Hosanna, he knows that he can just go in and steal that. I don't believe that he follows Hosanna around for that reason, of course not, but he definitely takes every opportunity he can get to pinch a kill. The meal is already prepared for him. He doesn't have to do any of the groundwork. And I have such an innate drive in me to talk to animals. I don't know why I do it. I just, oh, hi boy. Oh, I don't know why I do it. I do it at home a lot as well with my dog. I'm always having conversations with my dog. And sometimes my mum will come down and say, Lauren, what are you saying? I'm doing the ironing next door. I can't hear what you're saying. And I'll say, no, mum, don't worry. I'm talking to the dog. I don't know what it is or why I feel the need to do this, but I always feel like I need to greet the animals as I go past. There is absolutely no scientific or relevant need to do this, but it definitely is within me. And Emma said everybody feels like that. So that makes me feel a little bit better. Oh, look at him go. And this Cape Turtle dove has just not stopped calling the whole time we have been here, and it's actually become quite relaxing. It's one of these calls that just sort of blends into the background. Because can he hear me talking? Again, another super interesting question. And yes, of course, I believe he does. He obviously doesn't know, oh, that's that girl from Edinburgh again talking about me. Of course not. But yes, they do have fantastic hearing. And we're obviously quite close to him right now. So he will be very aware of our presence, are very aware of the vehicle's presence, and he will hear the noise, but obviously it's not disturbing him in any way, of course, but he can hear us for sure. And it seems like he's heard something else. He's looking in the direction right in front of us, but he's obviously heard something. His ears are up. That's the typical Duke of Juma face right there. Everybody's talking to their pets now, isn't it? Isn't it fascinating? Everybody talks to their animals. I don't know whether it makes us feel better or whether it makes them feel better. So while we're just going to try and figure out what is Tingana staring at, we have a loud jackal in the Mara with Isaac that we want you to check out.
These are the blackback or the silverback jackal. They were calling earlier, and I think they were trying to call for backup. Can you imagine them trying to call for backup? You know, there must be like 1,000 of them to chase off these lions. They try to call, but I don't think, you know, there is enough of them. That's a pair, and I think they're hoping that the lions are gonna leave so that they can move in and get a bit of their share. There will be definitely something for them. This is Fang. He has decided to move much closer to us. I don't think he's gonna go back because he knows there'll be nothing much left there. Fang is at his prime, and this is where, you know, he's making a lot of babies. He's got lots of young ones. All those offsprings that you saw there feeding are his. Lions live a very good life, and especially at this age, until another about 3 years when he start, you know, losing power, when the other males start moving in, and he might be ousted, where he goes and becomes a scavenger. He might depend on one of other females. They die and live a very bad life towards the end. But at this time, he's got a very good real estate, real good area full of game, and all you see there are his offsprings. Half-tail could be related to him. He could be his brother or cousin, and they have lived a very good life. All those cubs that are about 2.5 are their offsprings. Alan, sorry, if you could repeat that question, I didn't get it. I would really like to answer you. Yes, if there was another lioness coming in here, they will protect it. But in case it's an elephant or a buffalo, they'll try and outmaneuver the buffalo by moving in closer to the buffalo so it chases them rather than going for the female. And hopefully it doesn't detect that the female is injured. And so they protect it in that way. But chances are she's going to get better quite soon because they are amazing in, you know, recovering. Yeah, you can tell they're still very busy. Very, very busy. You know, when we came here, there was quite a lot left. There was the skin, you could see the head, the vertebra. But right now, I can tell that the ribs are almost being ripped off, you know, the backbone. Kalki. Jason, yes, they do eat. They do eat the hide, everything. The only thing that it's very hard for them to eat is the hoofs, the femur and the tibia, the vertebra, the pelvis, the shoulder blade, the skull, and the horns are the only few things that they are unable to eat. Everything else is eaten. That is half-tail. He's had a meal and a very big meal, and right now all he has to do for the next maybe 3 to 5 days is sleep. Yes, he's going to rest for the rest, you know, for those days he's had me. I'm gonna send you back to Jamie and see what is happening down there, and I'm gonna be here.
I'm sort of hoping for a leopard with a large belly relaxing somewhere, but all I've managed to find is some impala, which I'm going to show you now. You know what I forgot to tell you about? I forgot to tell you about Hosanna's failed hunting yesterday, which was truly, I really don't know how we did it. So there we go. There's some impala over there. A little bit nervous because of the wind. Yesterday, Hosanna had an impala that nearly stepped on him. I'm not joking. Not the time where we finished off the live safari, yesterday's sunset safari. A couple of minutes after that, one of the young males walked straight past Hosanna. I mean, really nearly stepped on him. I was convinced that Hosanna was going to spring at any moment. That impala must have been less than 3 meters away from him. He just sat there. And the impala walked past, turned round, realized that there was a leopard there and started sort of half alarm calling because it wasn't quite sure if it was a leopard. And the other impala didn't believe it. So they just stood and stared at it for a second and then wandered off quite calmly. And Hosanna, I think he went to sleep in mid-hunt. Because then, at some point about 20 minutes later, he woke up and went into full stalk mode, but the impala had already been gone for about 10 minutes. They'd already walked to quarantine. And Tom says, silly cat. I know, it's ridiculous. I don't know what he was thinking about. I really think he went to sleep in the middle of a hunt. That's not ideal. That doesn't exactly make for a successful hunt at all. I don't know. I don't begin to understand how these animals make their decisions. But the last I saw of him, he ditched me, literally, in a ditch, and carried on past the camp and was heading in this direction when I last saw his tracks. So I just thought I'd pop round here towards Inga's. You can see how nervy the impala are, but that's really just a product of the wind. I'm almost certain that Hosanna made a kill last night. It was windy, it was dark. I just wish I knew where he was. Well, perhaps if we stick with Tingana throughout the day, he might actually take us to his son and a potential meal. Who knows? Lauren's going to finish off with him.
You will not believe what just happened, and it's not related to the sleepy cat. A beautiful small bird, a southern black-tit, just landed on Craig's arm. It was the cutest thing. I've never seen Craig smile that much in all my time here. I tried to take a photo, but as soon as I got the camera out, it flew off. What a lovely moment. It was very cute. I wish I'd managed to capture it for you all, though. But never mind, these things are always that way. And we were just having a little chat. It's such a tricky decision to make. You've got a sleepy, gorgeous cat in front of you that you've got so much to say about because it's been such an eventful week with Tingana, or an eventful few days at least. Should you drive on and see what else you can find? Should you stay? But I am personally glad we've chosen to stay. Jamie's had an eventful drive with the dogs. Isaac's having a ball with the lions in Namara, and I just think it's lovely to just catch up and take a breath with Tingana here after all his excursions and his romantic moments. It's good just to catch up with him after all. So I'm glad we did decide to stay. But of course, it's always that decision. Should we go look for other things or should we stay? I'm not sure. But I'm glad we stayed. So it has been a wonderful morning. I cannot wait to get my coffee. And I can't wait to see Jamie and hear about all those incredible sightings with the dogs. So we're just going to give you one more beautiful, stunning look at the Duke of Juma. And we do, of course, hope that you will indeed join us this afternoon. We will be back out here for more adventures. Hopefully they will be filled with animals like we've had this morning. And as many of you know, the afternoon drive does start at 4 p.m. And of course, tonight is Sunday, so we do have the SABC 3 show, which is at 6:30 our time here in South Africa. So if you can, you are welcome to tune into that. But that will be how our night consists of tonight. So hopefully these amazing animals do stick around for the show. Are you going to stick around, Tingana? Oh, I think that was a yes. Hopefully he'll be the star of the show tonight. So thank you for all your comments and questions. As we always do say, that is what makes us us. Our interactivity with you, then the ability to answer your questions and have these discussion points. So thank you again, and we will see you this afternoon.